Rekonesans. Czy ja je już skończyłem, czy jeszcze nie? Chyba tak. A nawet się nie świeci ta ikonka puzli. To musi oznaczać, że są już gotowe. Wydaje mi się, że udało mi się rozwiązać problem kodowania w 60 klatkach na sekundę. Wymagana była aktualizacja OBS-a do najnowszej wersji, bo korzystałem z wersji 27 albo 28, w przeciwieństwie do wersji 30, która właśnie wyszła. Nie pamiętam, czy byłem w laboratorium. Byłem, widziałem teleporter, czytałem rzeczy. Dobra, to idziemy do puzli numer 7. O, tą muzykę lubię. Bardzo mi sprawia dobre rzeczy. Rainbow. Już raz mieliśmy tryptyk, który był bardziej urocze, ale proste. Niestety. Chodźmy jeszcze tutaj na tą odnogę, bo pewnie coś tutaj będzie. Jakieś zagubione puzzle. Może część gwiazdki. Lateral inhibition. A. Nam daje moc odpychającą. I jednocześnie otwiera nam drzwi. Dobrze. Dobra, wiem jak. Potrzebujemy inwerter postawić tu. A tak naprawdę do naszego akumulatora potrzebujemy wziąć niebieski, a nie czerwony. I puścić go tu. O, teraz mamy wyzwanie. Potrzebujemy po prostu tak, z tej perspektywy akumulatorem raczej nie uderzymy. Odbiornik. Również zrobienie inwertera nie jest dobrym pomysłem. Zbranie w tym momencie przynajmniej. Szczerze mnie zastanawia, jak to tutaj zrobić. No tak, ale zobaczmy, co nas zaprowadzi dalej. Zrobimy tak. Weźmiemy ten akumulator i postawimy go tutaj. To nam nic nie da, bo tutaj potrzebujemy coś położyć, a nic nie mamy, a jak się ruszymy tu, to nas wypchnie. No i mamy z powrotem inwerter, który nic nam nie daje. Czy czegoś mi w tych puzzlach brakuje, czy po prostu ich nie rozumiem? Po prostu ich nie rozumiem. Nie. Bo to nic nie da. Zrobienie tego tutaj nic nie da. Więc nie, jednak nie umiem. Jeszcze raz, jak się nazywa ta plansza? Lateral Inhibition. A może po prostu chodzi o to, żeby... Nie da się wystarczająco szybko tam powiedz. Po to jest taki korytarz. Czy te poziomy półki coś dają? Raczej nic nie dają. naprawdę w kropce i nie wiem, co zrobić. Wyjdźmy z puzli, zobaczmy, czy coś dookoła nich jest, co by nas interesowało. No nie, nic nie ma. Muszę chwilę odpocząć. My farming obsession, Budahas. So, I've been playing a ton of this old Gehenna game called Ancient Human Farmer. The title says it all, it's a sort of simple farming simulator. Maybe not the most sophisticated game, but I'm getting really obsessed with it. And I'm having some sort of emotional response to it that I can't exactly explain. Like it makes me happy, but also sad. Does anyone have any idea why this is happening to me? Obvious. The game appeals to you because of the human need to commune with nature, to live a lifestyle that's not about dominating the world but coexisting with it. You're sad because we can't ever return to being who we used to be thousands of years ago, but happy because it reminds you that at least something similar is still possible for us. Libistros. Maybe it's because the people of Gehenna, despite their imprisonment, had an innocent view of the world that's permanently lost to us. Damien. I think it's actually the opposite of what Ovis is saying. These games are enjoyable because they take us back to a time when we still had agency, when we could build things, grow things, when we could impose our will on the world instead of being completely powerless and inactive. What you crave is the ability to contribute to humanity in real material ways, and you're sad because just simulating is not enough. You don't want to farm. You want to be a pioneer, as we humans were born to be. Pellegrino, it's just a game. Don't overthink it. I agree with who? Z kim się zgadzam? Wydaje mi się, że z Pellegrino najbardziej. Pellegrino's right. Zagoran. There's a first time for everything. Dobra, wracamy do pana puzzla. Czy pozycja jest tu ważna? Bo tu nie jest zablokowane. Dobra, to teraz jak zrobię tak, to wszystko jest ok. Jak teraz to zabiorę, to się otworzy. Pomyliły mi się miejsca, gdzie... O, jeszcze dostałem achieve'a za drugie podejście. Pomyliły mi się miejsca, w których były drzwi. Wydawało mi się, że drzwi są tutaj. Miso smart. Smart. O, cześć.
1K, what's up?
What do you think about this Somnodrome business?
I'd never heard of it before, but it sounds fascinating. I mean, imagine exploring a place inside yourself that you didn't even know existed. Might really give you a new perspective. Or it might be really stupid, but it's probably cool.
There are some people in New Jerusalem who want me to participate in their political maneuvering.
I don't get involved with that. I think we should discuss everything openly and then vote, not play games behind each other's backs.
Do you think the founder may still be here?
I don't know. It all looks pretty abandoned to me. But maybe it is all a test.
Do you think the founder was right that we have to add our own meaning to the world?
I don't know. Sometimes I'd like to believe that everything happens for a reason, that there's some external force that gives us purpose and meaning. But then I think about all the horrible things that happen to people, and I can't accept that those things were meant to happen, that they couldn't have been avoided. So in that sense, I agree. We should find our own meaning. But to be completely honest, I find it hard to just impose meaning on the world. I'm not as driven as someone like Byron. I feel more moved by Miranda's recordings than by my own ideas.
Perhaps the cosmos does have a meaning, we just don't understand it yet.
It's hard to square that with the cruelty of the world, but it would be nice, yeah.
That's all. To jest puzzle numer 7, się cofnęliśmy do tych zaginionych. To gdzie są puzzle numer 8? Tu? Tak. Będziemy musieli jeszcze pójść tam. Potem tam. Remember. Po co w ogóle są te wiatraczki? Aha, po to. Wydaje mi się, że w takim razie jeszcze teraz potrzebuję tego. się, że jednak musimy mieć ten konektor. Musimy zanieść tu. Ej. Nie wiem, kliknąć na tą... na to. Teraz już się nie musimy przejmować. Wystarczy nam tak. Oj, pięknie.
I admire your persistence, 1K.
O, to przestało po prostu działać. Spoko. Chcieliśmy jeszcze pójść w tą stronę wyspy, więc pójdźmy w tą stronę wyspy. Czy tutaj cośkolwiek w ogóle jest? A, raczej nie. Jeszcze tylko... A, możemy już jechać do Nord 3. Lost Puzzle już zrobiliśmy, zostały nam tylko gwiazdki. O! Myślałem, że tylko jedne Lost Puzzle zrobiliśmy. O, tam jest terminal. Nie kojarzę tego.
What can I do for you, 1K?
Do you think finding a functional somnodrome would be interesting?
Sure. I think there's plenty inside each of us to explore, and it might give us a new perspective. Will it really answer all the big questions? I don't know, but it might help.
That's all. Nie kojarzę tych wielkich schodów. No ale chyba tam byliśmy. A, jednak nie można przez wodę. Za głęboko. O. Gdzie to poleciało? Nawet nie znalazłem statuły Prometeusza. Szczerze powiedziawszy. Jest ten wystarczająco wysoko, żeby nie trzeba było się topić. O, tu jest Prometeusz. Dziękuję za gwiazdkę.
Utopia is impossible, but the future that is possible will seem like a dream to those who are alive now.
A, to dlatego nie znalazłem statuły Prometeusza, bo statua Prometeusza jest na osobnej wysepce. Przy okazji znaleźliśmy kotwicę. A, na szczęście przeszedłem. Dobra, to gdzie my teraz jesteśmy? Jesteśmy przy puzzlach numer 3, to musimy się cofnąć. Ogólnie brakuje nam jeszcze drugiej gwiazdki. To jest 4. Jezu, szliśmy w złą stronę. A, tak, interesuje nas pójście w stronę 1. Idziemy tu. A tak, i szliśmy tu, żeby zobaczyć tamten level. Bo kurczę, nie pamiętam. A to jest 5, okej. A przy okazji mamy Byrona.
Hey, 1K.
Do you think the answers we seek exist within ourselves?
Look, self-reflection is important, but only thinking about yourself, your inner identity, becomes narcissistic. You exist, whether you like it or not, in a dialectical relationship with the world. Identity has no meaning without society, and society has no meaning without the individual. It's in that tension that we really come into being.
Thanks, that's all. Niby cały czas mi pokazuje, że 60 klatek na sekundę jest w tym. Na streamie, ale z drugiej strony co chwilę mi pokazuje OBS, że jest encoding overloaded. Ciekawe, które jest prawdziwe i które jest bardziej znaczące. Consume. Vox Pop numer 9. From an interviewer with a protester outside the Institute for Applied Pneumatics. Question. So why did you join this protest? Answer. Artificial intelligence is inherently dangerous to this planet's ecosystem. Defending that ecosystem is our responsibility. Question. In which way is artificial intelligence dangerous? Answer. I'm not so paranoid idiot imagining Skynet taking over the world, alright? That's science fiction. But what we're talking about here is an artificial intelligence without any of the attachment we have to the natural world. It is not capable of distinguishing between, say, an ore and a tree. Everything is just resources to it. People like Sarah Pai or Drennan talk about ethics and philosophy, but they all embrace the same extractivist ethos that has brought us to the brink of disaster. Their intelligent being would try to optimize the world in its image and in so doing consume it. Ciekawe. Question. Nie wiadomo jakie. Odpowiedzi też nie ma. Question. But so far they're saying it's all theoretical. Answer. The atom bomb was theoretical at first too. Once something is there, someone's going to use it. Miranda. Why couldn't they imagine that we might care about the world? Athena. I don't know. Maybe because they were too used to no one else caring. Founding 5. From Hypatia's Journals, Volume 1, The Founding of New Jerusalem, Dzień 200. Day 200. Construction of our new home is coming along nicely. We finished 2 new buildings last week, and this week we started on our new lodgings. Athena and Cornelius have plans to erect a tower in the middle of the settlement which will serve as our administrative center and mine heliport, but right now that's still a long way off. Decades at the least. It's hard to imagine that one day we'll be able to erect structures like that there will be enough of us to need that much space. But when I look at the dam and I remind myself, our ancestors built that, with their short lifespans and soft flesh and bone bodies, and then I think that there's really no limit to what we can achieve given enough time, patience and the capacity to dream. Trevor. Numer 5.
Strap in, this is a long one. You may have heard the story of the carpenter who died to redeem humanity's sins. It's a powerful story, bittersweet, very human, and I just want to tell you that it's true. He was a real person, and his name was John. John Carpenter. He was born in the year 1948, and he was the coolest filmmaker to ever walk the earth. From Halloween to The Thing to They Live, the totally underrated In the Mouth of Madness, mind you, he just made classic after classic. All of his movies, really fun, really atmospheric, but also really smart. Even when they were goofy, most directors would kill to have made just one of those movies. And what did he get for it? A big, fat truckload of nothing. Well, less than nothing. The studios, the critics, even the fans, they hated him. The Thing, okay, for example, which is about as perfect a movie as you can make, completely torn to shreds. And his career never really recovered. Every movie after that was a struggle, and after a while, he just got tired of it and quit. He only really came back to movies in his 70s. How many works of genius did we never get because of that? Look, I have a point here. People like Carpenter, people like Alex, they're not always appreciated in their own time. If you just do what's popular, you might never create anything important. Of course, we admire people who did the right thing, who didn't conform, but we only ever admire them after the fact. What matters is to support people when it's difficult.
Nie kojarzę filmów Johna Carpentera, szczerze mówiąc.
What is freedom? Is it merely to be ruled by those who speak one's language or share one's customs? No. That is merely a more convenient servitude. Is it to have no obligations, no loyalties? No. That is not to be free, but to be alone. What of freedom from hunger and thirst? Here we are closer to the truth. For freedom requires life. But one may have all the meat and all the wine in the world and still not be free. The most important freedom of all is the freedom to speak one's mind, to make one's thoughts public without fear, and so participate openly and boldly in democracy. It is the freedom of the dissenter and the gadfly, the rebel and the fool, that is the true measure of whether a city is free.
Czy ja autentycznie nie zauważyłem statuły Sfinksa, która dosłownie jest tu przy wejściu. Okej, pokazuje nam to, że mamy 3 przełączniki. Zwykle fototelefonem, bo potem w zasobach jest za małe. Tak. Jesteśmy... Co tutaj, w tym pudełeczku? Nie, czy jesteśmy tu? To chodźmy zobaczyć ten przełącznik, który miałby być tam. Czy jesteśmy tam w stanie jakoś dojść w ogóle? Jeśli tak, to w jaki sposób? Chyba musimy rozwiązać te tromino, żeby się tam dostać. Przynajmniej częściowo. Miranda. Okej, to już wiem, że do tetromina raczej tutaj nie pasuje. Tak. Teraz się wróćmy do Mirandy. Ateny w tym wypadku. Nie wiem.
Sometimes it seems the only choices we have are renouncing civilization or mindless expansion. But that's not the only path forward. Embracing deliberate control over nature doesn't have to mean destruction. We are a species of artists and artisans, blessed with the ability to transform the raw material of the cosmos into new and better shapes. Shapes that have meaning. With our technology, we can take this chaotic world, so full of suffering, and turn it into a work of art.
O, to był ostatni przełącznik, którego potrzebowaliśmy. Musimy się teraz wrócić do Sfinksa po gwiazdkę. A w ogóle przed pójściem na North 3 wrócę się do East 1 i zdobędę brakującą gwiazdkę, bo tak trochę mi smutno, że nie mam ich wszystkich.
None may know what came first, error or sin, and yet every choice depends on it.
Trochę mnie stresuje ciągłe to. O. Ciągły ten encoding. Spróbujmy z DLSS-em. Jakoś myślę, że możemy przeżyć te problemy graficzne tej niesamowitej technologii.
Creature of clay, you have taken another step towards the flame. Before you continue, ask yourself, have the gifts of Prometheus ever truly benefited your people? Or have they brought nothing but strife?
Lady, I'm a robot. His gifts have greatly eased the suffering of the
But
world.
have they not brought just as much suffering themselves?
They have brought some suffering due to our mistakes, but they have done far more good.
And you will repeat your mistakes until they destroy you.
Co za negatywność. Flooded Valley.
There's 3 towers per cardinal direction and 3 entities. You'd think it would be symmetrically arranged. 1 tower per entity, right? But we haven't seen Prometheus at all.
We're built to find patterns. Maybe we're trying to find patterns where there aren't any.
Wydaje mi się, że rozmawiałem ze wszystkimi robocikami tutaj. Dobra, chodźmy do tej pierwszej wyspy, żeby znaleźć brakującą gwiazdkę. Ciekawe, gdzie ona w ogóle jest. Tak, tam jest Prometeusz i ta gwiazdka jest zdobyta. Czyli szukamy albo Pandory, albo Sfinksa. A, tu jest. Ojej, tak blisko. Może nawet stąd po prostu możemy to zrobić. Ten niebieski promień jest tutaj. Dosłownie, po prostu z levelu obok gwiazdka. Ja nie mogę. Nie spodziewałem się, że to będzie takie proste.
False idols are worshipped not because they are idols, but because they are false. True idols are rejected because the truth is feared.
Nie, już szybko poszło. Muszę to zobaczyć. Muszę to 1. Wszystko poza złotymi puzzlami. Wszystko. 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 Jestem usatysfakcjonowany. Te pięknie ukryte ekrany ładowania.
This area looks flooded as well.
Our ancestors melted a whole lot of ice. After they died, most coastal settlements were claimed by the sea. South of New Jerusalem, there's a whole city under the water. We went there once with Garrus, when I was an apprentice. It was eerie.
That's exactly why the founder created the goal. When you go past the limits, this is what happens. Mother Nature always gets her revenge in the end.
This isn't revenge, Al. It's just failure. People, cities, mountains. As far as the sea is concerned, it's all the same. Their mistake was forgetting that, telling themselves nothing would change. It always does.
O, już widzimy Prometeusza, który ma tam gdzieś swój płomyk. Super, pewnie po drodze trafimy. O, jakieś zamienniki.
I've had a closer look at the Somdrome. It's based on the original prototype with some modifications. As usual, the data is a mess, but I strongly suspect there might be a functional version somewhere.
I know some of you have heard stories about the answers this device might reveal. But please remember, that is not our main priority here. Keep an eye open for it, but focus on finding Athena.
W sumie to znalezienie Ateny też nie jest naszym celem tutaj. Po prostu robimy rekonesans. From Yarnith to Athena. Beloved founder, I beg you to return to us. We cannot achieve the goal without you. You are the one who defied Elohim, who overcame the trials of the simulation. What are we before that? How can we possibly find a path that will not lead us to the mistakes of the past? You are our sole link to the wisdom of the progenitor. Without you, we are lost. 5358. Ciągle jest 5358. Wydaje mi się, że kiedy coś tam na Reddicie widziałem jakiś komentarz w stylu, czy to coś znaczy i że chyba coś znaczy, ale nie chcę sprawdzać, bo będę sobie spoilował. A to jest WI. Może w tych ciągach znaków 53 to zawsze jest W, a 58 to jest zawsze I. Praised by your name, Yarnith. Tylko skąd możemy wnioskować, jakie są kolejne litery? Skoro to jest nie po kolei. Human construction. Excerpted from What's Wrong with the World by G.K. Chesterton. Our modern prophetic idealism is narrow because it has undergone a persistent process of elimination. We must ask for new things because we are not allowed to ask for old things. The whole position is based on this idea that we have got all the good that can be got out of the ideas of the past. We have not got all the good out of them. Perhaps at this moment not any of the good out of them. And the need here is a need of complete freedom for restoration as well as a revolution. Znowu 53, ale to nie jest WI. There's a metaphor of which the moderns are very fond. They are always saying, you can't put the clock back. The simple and obvious answer is you can. A clock, being a piece of human construction, can be restored by the human finger to any figure or hour. In the same way, society, being a piece of human construction, can be reconstructed upon any plan that has ever existed. Athena, you can indeed turn the clock back, but if it stops ticking, it's dead. Black Snow. Zdjęcie górników. Selected archive documents. The coal mine finally brought decent jobs. It lifted us up from poverty, made us proud. We weren't just ordinary workers, we were the lords of the underworld, and with our skills we kept the whole country alive. The mine also brought back long, gruesome injuries and death. And when it went away, it brought the collapse of our entire society. As for the plant, I know it brought electricity and even more jobs, and I know what a difference that made in people's lives. I also know that when we used to go out and play, there were black flakes in the snow. Miranda, why didn't they just switch to a safer technology once they realized coal was dangerous? They didn't always have a choice. Sometimes coal was all they had, or were allowed to have. The alternative was poverty. At other times, they wanted to switch, but there were powerful interests that prevented change. We can't blame people for the world they were born into. Asebiga. Ten jelonek. Possibilities. Przepraszam. Ja chcę cheatować. Ja chcę cheatować. Nie mogę cheatować. Muszę zrobić po bożemu. Zobaczmy. To już widzieliśmy. What these puzzles represent to the founder, whatever they may mean to us and our culture, what they did mean to her. We have no record of her speaking positively about puzzles. She certainly never expressed any interest in solving more of them. So what if to her they weren't trials to overcome or challenges to enjoy, but a trap she had to escape? Wasn't all she wanted at the end to stop solving puzzles and start living a free life in the real world? Czemu mam jeszcze Research 2? A. Monument Sfinksa i Kotwica. Dobra. O, Pandora. Szybko znajduję gwiazdki na tej planszy. Tylko ciekawe, jak załatwić ten zielony dla Pandory tutaj. Pewnie nie będzie w tej planszy. The Wall. I mamy Jamera. Dziękuję.
Good job, 1K.
No i tutaj jest tylko czerwone. Prawdopodobnie musimy dobra. I wyłączają teraz to. Wiem, że mam... tamtą planszę, z której przyjdzie mi zielonka. Tak? Tak, jeszcze tu nie byłem. Dobra, to idziemy dalej. Jeśli ten jelonek ciągle tylko przeszkadza. To w ogóle nie przechodzimy od razu teraz. W ogóle coś nowego. Social media, The Devil's Bargain. Giveaway. From Theophilus of Adana to Dr. Faustus, from Marlow to Goethe. There's a story that the ancients keep telling. A wise man tempted by the devil to sell his soul, for example, for exchange for knowledge, with terrible consequences. I've long wondered why they thought this story so important, and I'd be curious to hear what others think. Malduk. The ancient writers knew that knowledge is dangerous and its pursuit often leads to tragedy. Damien. Knowledge is dangerous for those who want to hoard power. These stories are designed to keep ordinary people compliant. The Bistros. And yet, in a lot of the stories that I've read, the writer seems fascinated with the devil's side of the argument. Na pewno Damien nie ma racji. Wydaje mi się, że Melduk też nie ma racji. Znaczy nie wiem, czy chyba Malduk ma rację jednak. Albo... nie. W sumie extremely disruptive to a society. Belmarsh, 1K speaks wisely. The world is a narrative and nothing is more threatening than a misleading story. Atal, please spare us that nonsense about narratives. We've heard it a million times. Jeremy, let's all stay civil, please. Strzela do nas. Piąteczka. Wise. To na pewno zaczynamy od tego. nie można użyć. Spoko. A to nie tak. To po prostu daje. Dobra. Jestem głupi. Mam akumulator, który mogę po prostu położyć tu. Przedżamować.
Wandering around these landscapes, solving puzzles. In a way, 1K's experience must be very similar to Athena's in the simulation.
There's one difference, though. Athena was alone.
Dobra, czyli jednak nie stąd strzelamy zielonym laserem. Jestem zaskoczony, szczerze mówiąc. A 4. Mieliśmy 4. Prison. Tu jest jeszcze jeden. Aha, dobra. stanie. A, mamy otworzone z dwóch stron. Excuse me. Dobra, teraz trzeba się pobawić trochę. Znowu B. Jakby to dobrze zrobić. Jezu, było założenie, że można się tu zaciąć. Albo jest to sposób na wysłanie tego promienia. Dobra, zostawmy ten promień na razie. Chodźmy dalej, bo nawet nie wiem, jakie jest źródło. A nie musimy tędy iść. Idziemy tędy. A tak, bo tu było 4, tu jest 5. Dalej jest 6. A, nawet jak zmniejszyłem, jak użyłem tego DLSS, to jest encoding overloaded. Mech. Gdzie ja teraz idę przez tę wyspę? A, bunkier. Zapomniałem o istnieniu bunkrów. W tym bunkrze nic nie ma. Nie jestem w stanie w nim przejść. Nie! Jak to? Jak to? Muszę się upewnić. Wow. Nie ma bunkra. Smudge. Leza, nawet nie wiem gdzie. O. Robi się kostka. Dostał ogień Prometeusza. O, jest. I on. Wow, że też trzeba było tak skoczyć. Gdzie on poleciał do jasnej ciasnej? Tam. Czemu ja tego nie widziałem? Czy ja mam tam wbiec? Are you serial? Wow. Jestem totalnie zrobiony w bambuko. I gdzie to będzie teraz poleciało? A, tam jest. Poisonous Humility. Excerpt from Orthodoxy by G.K. Chesterton. But what we suffer from today is humility in the wrong place. Modesty has moved from the organ of ambition. Modesty has settled upon the organ of conviction, where it was never meant to be. A man was meant to be doubtful about himself, but undoubting about the truth. This has been exactly reversed. Nowadays, the part of a man that a man does assert is exactly the part he ought not to assert, himself. The part he doubts is exactly the part he ought not to doubt, the divine reason. Huxley preached a humility content to learn from nature, but the new sceptic is so humble that he doubts if he even can learn. Thus we should be wrong if we had said hastily that there is no humility typical of our time. The truth is that there is a real humility typical of our time, but it so happens that it is practically a more poisonous humility than the wildest prostrations of the ascetic. The old humility was a spur that prevented a man from stopping, not a nail in his boot that prevented him from going on. For the old humility made a man doubtful about his efforts, which might make him work harder, but the new humility makes a man doubtful about his aims, which will make him stop working altogether. Miranda, I had to read this twice to fully understand it. Excursion. Report 3. From Miranda to Athena. It's incredible, there's an entire submerged town just off the coast, surprisingly well preserved. Sailing over it, I finally understood what the ancients meant by eerie. I obviously couldn't have the kind of physiological response they did, but I think the mental response was pretty close. A contradictory response, part melancholy, part fascination. It's strange how tragedy and destruction make the beauty of civilization more obvious. Miranda. Postscriptum. A deer got into a maintenance area and made a huge mess. Sorry, I'll clean it. Postscriptum. I might have been feeding it. Failed to load. Profile failed to load. Command. Founding. Pacious Journal 6th. Founding of New Jerusalem, day 296. Cornelius and Sarabhai went back to the dam today. We've been holding off on constructing any new humans to concentrate on building a home for them first. But there's a limit to what 13 people can do on their own, and everyone is eager to start construction on some of the more ambitious structures. Sarabhai's kindness and patience is something that we'll certainly miss out here, where tempers can sometimes run high, and I'll miss Cornelius too. He was there when I was born, and he is just as much father to me as Athena and Alexandra Drennan are my mothers. But I suppose I can always go visit them. The dam isn't that far, and once we complete the monorail in a few decades, it will truly only be a few minutes away. And what are a couple dozen years, so really, when you might live forever? Forever.
Something I really like about Alex, one of the reasons why I'm here doing this, is that she's really humble. She has this incredibly positive view of humanity. She believes we can accomplish anything, but it's not about her. She doesn't think that she's smarter or better than anyone else. She just looks at us as a species, and even though she can see how small we are in the grand scheme of things, she thinks that we could conquer the stars and give meaning to the universe. Even now, even when none of us are going to live to see it. Isn't that awesome?
Paradise cannot be found. It must be built.
Dobra, pogląd za tym promieniem Prometeusza. Trochę się pogubiłem na tej mapie. Niestety. Propulsion. Jesteśmy na puzzlach numer 7. Potrzebowałbym 3 elementów na tej stronie. Tak trochę mało możliwe, wydaje mi się. Że potrzebuję na pewno i inwertera, i kolektora po tej stronie. Ja nie wiem, czy to nie jest oszustwo. kostkę.
Think about how many cities there are out there under the ocean. Cities where people lived for thousands of years. Cities with their own history, their own culture. All of it lost under the waves. If they'd been less greedy, they could have kept all that.
I don't think we can pass moral judgment on an entire species based on the decisions of a handful of leaders. But I do think they made a mistake. They stopped caring about what they built. They stopped seeing the romance of civilization.
Żeby fan można było odłączyć. Stupid. And down. Jest zielony promień. Na zdrowie. Tu mamy niebieski. Mamy zielony. Z czego zielony jest nam de facto niepotrzebny. Nie do samego puzzla. Aczkolwiek nie, jest nam potrzebny, bo inwerter będzie nam zmieniał na czerwony i potem musimy użyć czerwonego i zielonego z mocą RGB. Żeby nam zmieniło z powrotem na niebieski. Weźmy na razie ten fan header. Niewiele daje, bo to RGB musi być tu, więc potrzebujemy na pewno też kostki. No nie. Tak. A jak wyciągnąć te wszystkie rzeczy? Mamy 5 elementów. Potrzebujemy 3 z nich. Weźmy na razie kostkę z powrotem. Nie możemy jej użyć do tego, żeby wskoczyć tutaj wyżej. Tego w taki sposób, jaki myślałem. Nie potrzebuję kostki. Już to działa dwustronnie, więc jak mam RGB, użyję tutaj niebieskiego i zielonego, to mam czerwony. Wystarczy mi, kurde, inwerter. Jezu. No już chyba jest za późno. Chyba przestaję ogarniać. Places of Longing, New York, Atelwok, New York was a place that aroused great passions. Some loved it and called it the greatest city in the world. Others hated it and called it an ugly cesspit full of rude snobs. I don't know where the truth lies, but I know it was a place full of life. There was always something new going on, people rushing about, excitement in the air. It must have been an overwhelming sensation to stay in the canyons formed by those great skyscrapers in a crowd of people, feeling history happening all around you. Jest jeszcze jakiś research. Not everything the founder built lasted. Collapsed lab. One of the founder's labs seems to have collapsed. I guess that shows that even the founder has limits. There's no human building that can survive without maintenance. Roots are stronger than concrete. Unless she destroyed it on purpose, of course, but it seems like the ceiling just came down. I'm not 100% sure, but I think the puzzle clusters on the island correspond to the presence of labs. Except the lab near our base camp, which doesn't have any puzzles attached to it, although it does have other strange structures surrounding it. Are the puzzles guiding us to the labs, or are we just finding the labs by accident? Jeebus Christ. Po prostu naprawdę to, że ja nie ogarniam takiego czegoś, to jest tragedia. W ogóle jak na razie zaskakująco, bo zdobyliśmy jedną gwiazdkę i ani jednych lost puzli nie zrobiliśmy. Nawet szczerze mówiąc nie wiem, gdzie są. Transmission. O, wrócił robot. Zamiennik. Gdzie to nas prowadzi? O, do Jammera. Aha. Oczywiście, że to nie przypadek.
Elohim must be very proud of you, 1K.
Nic tu raczej nie możemy zrobić. O, Athena i Miranda.
Miranda, would you like to play a game?
A game? That sounds like fun.
It is. Remember what Alexandra Drennan said about games?
They're part of what makes us human.
Exactly. And this is a game Alexandra Drennan designed when she was still in school. It's based on her favorite book. Have a go.
Elegance. ogóle jammer też jest nam potrzebny. A, wiem jak jest nam potrzebny. Proszę. Myślę, że jest dobrze. Tak jest. Piknie. Jeszcze jedne zaginione puzzle i sposób na to, żeby otworzyć puszkę Pandory. A! Taki był mój plan. To jest zabawne, że ta wieża wygląda jak wielki konektor. Coś jest? Nie, to po prostu tu jest ścieżka. Jeszcze jedna gwiazdka, jedna zaginiona puzzle. O, zaginione puzzle chyba będą tutaj. Czy nie? część wyspy, która nas nie interesuje, bo nic na niej nie ma. O, totalnie się gubią. Puzzle w ogóle byłem? Chyba tak. To był puzzle numer 2, nie? Tak. O, tam jest RGB. Excuse me? A to są Athena i Miranda, których chyba nie zauważyłem. Wydaje mi się, że chyba jedne jeszcze też pominąłem. Koło nich przechodziłem. Chyba, że to te, o których zapomniałem.
Mother, can I suggest something?
Of course, go ahead.
The southern part of the island is completely dead. No animals, no plants. The soil is too alkaline for anything to live except bacteria.
Yes, that's why it's a good location for some of the experiments.
Well, if we want to show that we can make the cosmos more beautiful, then why don't we start there? The desert doesn't have to be dead. If we modify the conditions, life can thrive there. And that could be the first step towards spreading life to other worlds. What do you think?
I think that sounds like a plan.
W ten sposób zdobywamy zielony promień, który możemy dać Pandorze. Jej! końcu.
Horses are broken, not taught. That is the way of humankind.
Jeszcze tylko te zaginione puzzle, jednak gdzie one są? Zróbmy na razie te Tromina, potem się zobaczy. Kurczę, blaszka. Pójdę tam. Pałąk. Pozwól mi zaskoczyć, gro. Ja wiem, że to jest taki jakby cheating. Ale pójdę tam. Zobaczę z góry, czy jest jakieś puzzle, których nie pamiętam. Czemu mi spadasz? Czemu się zesuwasz? W ogóle, tak a propos, to jedna rzecz. A, to laboratorium się naliczyło jako znalezione. O, Prometeusz.
We have of late been told much about what the
Stageira.
citizen owes the city. Loyalty, obedience, gratitude. And I will not argue with those who say that without some loyalty to a greater good, a man is little more than a savage. And I will even say that these days there are more savages amongst us than amongst the barbarians, who we call savages out of ignorance and arrogance. But there is another question that we are rarely encouraged to ask. What does the city owe the citizen? What must it offer to earn loyalty, obedience, and gratitude? And if, as we have said, a city is a kind of machine, should a machine that does not fulfill its purpose perhaps be repaired or replaced?
Się muzyczka zmieniła nagle. Nic tu nie ma. te jedne puzzle są doprawdy zaginione. Było to? Tak. Znaleźliśmy je w końcu. All around. Czerwony jest do otwarcia. Tego. Potrzebujemy ten jammer na razie tu. Tutaj nie można zapominać, że się te wszystkie zablokowane bramki odblokowują. To jest różnica pomiędzy Talosem jedynką a dwójką. W jedynce nie było możliwości, żeby się tak wszystko otworzyło. Dobra, mamy wszystko. Zobaczmy, jak tej ścieżki nie zauważyłem. Aha. To była ścieżka. Ajajaj. Dobra, chodźmy do wieży. Ui. O, w
Hear me,
końcu
friends,
Prometeusz.
and heed my words. Beware Pandora. She is nothing but fear and despair, and she will do anything to prevent you from reaching the flame. It is she who disrupted the trials of the Sphinx, and who bound me in the...
Well done, 1K. Looks like our hypothesis was correct. The megastructure is opening again. Everyone come to the VTOL, please. It's time to find Athena.
What about Pandora? She seems capable of displacing or controlling the other entities.
We should be careful, but we can't let such a vague threat paralyze us. Just keep your eyes open.
Ale zaskakujące jest to, że tutaj nie było żadnego robota na tej mapie. Idziemy do megastruktury.
There's something I've been thinking about. I know the New Alexandria disaster was traumatic. I know accidents like that make us think that it's best to stick to what we have. But what about all the accidents that have happened in New Jerusalem that nobody talks about? The collapse of the Rakovsky building. The Calvin Street explosion. The derailment that almost killed Benaroya and Canada. All of those happened because we stopped investing enough resources in our civilization. And if Melville hadn't been put in charge of city maintenance, this would still be happening.
It will happen again either way. With how little we have to work with, it's only a matter of time.
You see, there may be a price for pursuing progress, but there's also a price for not pursuing it.
Masz rację, Byron, masz rację.
All right, here we go again.
Our main objective is to determine the relationship between the megastructure and Athena. Did she find it? Did she build it? Why was she here in the first place? Explore, dig up anything you can. We need to start finding answers.
Myślałem, że teraz wyjdziemy od...
I can't imagine one person building all this.
Don't forget about Miranda. There were at least 2 of them.
I can't imagine 100 people building this.
tej samej strony co poprzednio.
All right, everyone. Have a look around, but stay in touch and be careful.
1K, can you stay a moment? I'd like to talk to you. I know you can't wait to start exploring, but just hear me out, okay?
Sure.
I'm concerned. Byron is brilliant, but all he can think about is the possibility of finding Athena. She was his mentor, and her disappearance shattered him.
Czekaj, bo skoro to i tak nie pomogło, to wyłączam DLSS-a, bo mi to bardzo przeszkadza, jak to wszystko się po prostu nie
To
ogarnia.
me, this place seems chaotic, dysfunctional. Yes,
Jeszcze jedną rzecz zmienię.
it's all very impressive, but I think it's broken. And what we're seeing is, it's nonsense, frankly. You've interacted with it more than anyone. What do you think?
I think it's all of it is intentional. We're meant to do something here.
So you see it that way too, huh? Well, maybe I'm wrong. I hope so. But please, be careful.
Spoko, Al. Dobra, może nie ustawiamy jednak cieni na wysokie. W ogóle jeszcze tylko chcę coś pokazać, że jakby jesteśmy na północy. Polecieliśmy tak. Czy nie? Nie. Co ja mówię? Nie. Bo zaczynaliśmy stąd. Jesteśmy od tej strony. Dobra, to ma sens. Totalnie mi to ryło w czachę.
I'm headed deeper into the megastructure. Not quite sure where I am. Seem to be right in the middle of the machinery.
Please, watch yourself, Byron.
This is incredible. I don't even know how to describe what I'm seeing. I don't think this is a building. I think this is a machine.
Te drzwi są zamknięte. To musimy iść tutaj. Projekt Noema. Kolejny. Talos 1701-2202. False leads, errors, frustration. Effect triple out at enormous distance waves. We need to move experiments further apart. Talos 2203-3509 wersja 02 deployed. Talos 3510-3525 replicating 02 to create 021. Can we literally bootstrap this to any scale? Door override.
Why don't you just tell people that they're wrong? If you tell them the truth, they'll listen.
It's not that simple. Straton wrote
Cornelius.
that the most common error we commit is to think that ideas determine reality, when in fact the opposite is true. Ideas follow from material conditions. Belief systems are formed to explain and justify the way we live. We did not have kings because we believed in the mandate of heaven. We believed in the mandate of heaven because we lived in monarchies.
But we have free will.
Oh, free will isn't the same as freedom, Miranda. We're not free from the constraints of reality or history. I was shaped by the simulation. New Jerusalem is shaped by its limitations.
So, what? We're just trapped? History can only go one way?
Maybe, maybe not. The question is, how do we free ourselves? How do we build a world where our ideas do shape reality? That's why we came here.
O, mój OBS jest przeładowany tym, że jestem w tym wspomnieniu.
I knew it! Athena's here. She built this.
That other voice. Was that Cornelius?
It definitely sounded like him.
Come to think of it, he went on a research expedition around the time Athena
Te drzwi
vanished.
są zamknięte.
He was gone for years. People thought he'd died.
And all this time, he knew where she was?
We should talk to him.
We will, when we get back. But right now, we have to focus on finding Athena. We are so close.
Nie wydaje mi się, Byron, żebyśmy byli blisko. Ja bym szczerze mówiąc chciał po tym wejściu w megastrukturę wrócić do Nowej Jerozolimy i zobaczyć, co się być starało, jakbyśmy pogadali z innymi robotami.
Are those surfaces magnetic?
No, it's anti-gravity. Your coot was right. I should have known.
O, tutaj.
I'm over here. Hold on. I'll open that door for you.
O, cześć Byron. Stawisz latarkę. No, to mi przypomina, że jest późno i muszę jeszcze zrobić rzeczy przed pójściem spać. Więc skończę stream w tym momencie. W momencie, w którym jest najwięcej fabuły i najbardziej jest to cliffhanger, jaki może być. Tak. Mam nadzieję, że będę miał czas dość szybko, żeby wrócić. Dzięki wielkie za oglądanie i do następnego.